Welcome back to Car Mechanic Simulator 2021. If you're enjoying this content or any content on the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and a like on the episodes does really help. Today we are working on the next story car. Now this beauty of a car in front of you is the car we're working on. I know it looks a state. It is the 2000 Hinata Kagura SX. Luckily it's not our car. It's an i4 DOHC 4x4 engine, 308 horsepower, and it belongs to a guy called RM. Now he supposedly is an internet star of the car racing scene, and he snapped this car up from a junkyard. He admits it looks like a piece of junk, but he's hoping we can make it a gem. Now there are some things to this project. So all parts to go on the car have to be above 22%, and there's 2 pages of undiscovered parts. It's not going to be a simple job, I'm sure, but 22% isn't high, so gives us some leeway hopefully. So I have taken it for a wash. As you can see, it does look a little bit different. It's not noticeably different, but it's different. I was hoping the wash would do more than it did, but it didn't. You can't rush out. You can't wash out rust, unfortunately. Right, we're doing our usual examination just to speed through it. There we go, and we'll start our test as well. Hopefully this will tell us a little bit of information and we'll roughly know what we need to do for this car. Now, okay, so some of it we can't do because the engine doesn't start. So, engine doesn't start, we need to have a think about what the best way of getting this working is. You can see the spark plugs have gone. There's 4 undiscovered parts still. Battery's no good, alternator. Battery's easy though, we just need to take it out and charge it, which we'll do. That's not an issue. Ignition coils and spark plugs, they're going to stop it starting, so we need to deal with those. I think I saw other things in there. I think there's some fuses as well, so that's probably the reason it won't start. We do need to change the fluid, so we'll change the oil first of all anyway. While we've got the car in the air, we're going to need to take the engine out because we're going to need to get to the spark plugs and stuff. We could do it in the engine bay, but you're lacking room. It's easier to take the engine out, have a proper look. It just makes life a lot easier. So, as you can see, the undercarriage, the chassis, the suspension, the drive shaft, all of it is in a really poor condition. But we're only here to fix what he wants us to fix. We're not going above and beyond. It's not worth it. We will not get paid extra for doing more than we need to. So, we're looking at the gearbox here. It's a 4x4 gearbox, and we need to take the wheels off to get the drive shafts off. As it's a 4x4 gearbox, you saw the long drive shaft to the rear wheels, but it's also got 2 at the front as well. So, take the front right off first, and we just need to take the drive shaft out. Before we do that, we'll just take the left one as well. There we go. Now, we should be able to take them out for the gearbox. Let me have a closer look on this. There we go. So front drive axle, that can come off, and we should have done the other side around there, to be fair. Would have made life a lot easier. We'll take the other side off as well. And then we need the drive shaft in the middle of the gearbox off. Front drive shaft, there we go. And then the gearbox should come off. I think, no, we haven't taken the starter motor. The usual thing I forget about, the little starter motor, as always, has caused us another problem. And annoyingly, this starter motor can only be taken out from the engine bay. The thing is, you try and remember where different things are on different cars, but because the setups are different, and this might be our first 4x4 to be honest, so that's a different thing for us to learn about. While we've got the car on the floor though, we'll just drain the liquids. That solves this little job in a bit. But yeah, didn't even think the starter motor would be engine bay only. I just assumed we could do it from underneath like most cars, but unfortunately not. So we've had to bring the car down, but while we're here we'll do other little bits and pieces like I say. So we've drained all the fluids, starter motor can now come off, and then back up in the air, and we should be able to take its gearbox off now, and that should enable us to get the engine out. Fingers crossed. Let's try to get the right view. It's frustrating sometimes, you just can't get the view on the part you want. Right, there we go. We'll take the front exhaust section off, that will help us take the engine out anyway. And then gearbox. Rusted bolt to get in our way, just to make life a little bit more difficult, or 2 of them. and gearbox is out. So I believe now we should be able to take the engine out. Before we do that, let's just have a look at skill points. I believe we've got 6 to spend. Now, unscrewing bolts is a pain. It takes time, and I'd like it to be sped up a little bit. So I'm thinking our screwing and unscrewing speed would be the nice upgrade. It's going to cost us 5 skill points, but that'll give us a little bit more of an increase, and hopefully we'll speed up some of what we have to do. We undo a lot of bolts and screws in every episode, so any increase in speed is definitely a bonus. So let's take this engine out, and we'll go and put it on the engine crane in the warehouse. Here we are. So in the warehouse, we've got the engine out on the crane. Now, the whole engine looks no good, but we've got to be so careful in what we take off because it's 22% or less. So any red parts is what we're looking for. So from what we know, I think it's the alternator there is definitely got to be changed. There we go. I'm not sure about the power steering motor actually. We haven't got a percentage on that. Might be okay. This is where you can end up spending a lot of money when you don't need to, and this is where you can go wrong, especially on story cars. I don't pay a massive amount of money. Ignition cores, we needed 4 of those. I do remember that, and the spark plugs actually. We can take them out. I do remember they were on the list. But yeah, this is where you can end up spending a lot of money and not gain it back if you go too far. You've got to be very careful what you do on the story cars. They don't pay a lot of money. You get more money actually by doing customer cars. These are meant to show you what progress you should be at, at what point you should be buying new upgrades for the garage, that kind of thing. So we're currently on track, I believe, with the story cars. It's something I want to continue with. So we need to take off the gear side of the engine now. So the clutch pressure plate, once we undo the bolts. It's the bottom when it's all rusty and horrible. Clutch plate has to come off, and then the flywheel. Now, I think that is everything. I'm hoping. Because we couldn't start the engine, we couldn't do some of our final tests. Oil filter probably is going to need change. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's red. Anything red is generally a guaranteed change. Was there a throttle on our list? I think there was. It's a red anyway, so I think that needs replacing as well. It's a difficult one. You want to try and fix everything properly, but at the same time you don't want to lose money. And that's the difficult thing, especially when the whole engine looks as it does here. So we've got to try and make the best of it. So the throttle was definitely on the list. It was red anyway. Is there anything else on here that we can see that might need changing? I personally would fix the whole thing, but that's not what he wants. So that's why I'm just having a little look around to make sure there's nothing that we should take off now. I mean, 2 months over, take the timing cover off just to check behind it. It's one of those, if you don't do it, sod's law, you're going to find something that you need to do. Okay, right, I think what we'll do, we'll go and fix what we can, which isn't much, and buy what we need. Right, so we've fixed what we could, we've bought what we needed, we've checked the warehouse for other parts as well, and we've managed to get what we need. I think that's everything. I've gone back to the car a few times just to double check, was there anything else on the list to do? And it's one of those, it's just being very conscious of money. It may look like we've got quite a bit of money currently, but it's not that much. And even if we did have hundreds of thousands, I still wouldn't want to waste it by doing too much. If that makes sense, I just don't think it's worthwhile. You're not going to get the money back. It's a bit of a waste. I never want to lose money on a job. That's not the way to run a business, is it? So the water pump we didn't need to take off, so we've put it back on. And now spark plugs, we did need 4 new ones of these, and we needed 4 of the ignition cores. That's what they're called. I nearly can't remember. Ignition cores to go on top. We know they need replacing, so that's them done. So that's 8 parts of this job at least finished, plus the alternator and the throttle. And we're getting there. It's not too bad. The car itself, although it's on the junkyard, has more in it than the cars we've got from the junkyard, to be honest. So it's still a good junkyard find, to be fair. The ones we've got have got a lot less in it. So we put the gear stuff back on. I call it the gear stuff because it connects to the gearbox, and I assume that makes sense. Fuel filter as well, need to change them. Flywheel, That's above the 22, so I assume we didn't need to change the flywheel. The clutch pressure plate, again, we didn't change that. And in fact, we didn't even change the clutch release bearing. I did check the job sheet and none of that was on there, surprisingly. So that is the engine, in theory, done. Hopefully, we haven't made any major errors. We'll grab the battery on the way past. And it's done. There is a chance we put this back in the car and I will take it out again. There is always that chance. Because we haven't checked every single part, but I believe from the jobs list we're going to be okay. It's always one of those moments when you're not sure. And I've made mistakes in the past without taking an engine out more than once because I've been a bit unsure of what we needed to change and what we didn't. Referring back to the car does help. I wish you could look at the job sheet away from the car. I know that'd be a little bit annoying considering you could be doing more than one job at once. It would make my life a lot easier. Right, let's put some things back on. So we've got the gearbox. Straight back on. The front drive shaft, again, none of these needed doing, they weren't on the list. We've got the exhaust back as well. Every time I replace something on this car, I want to do all of it. It's one of those, you look at a car and you put a brand new shiny part on, surrounded by rusty, horrible, broken down parts, and you think, why? But because we fix everything that goes in a warehouse, I haven't got any broken down parts we could have used, if that makes sense. But then I don't want to store things that aren't 100%. And we do try and use the warehouse where possible to save ourselves a little bit of money on jobs. Although in the future, a lot of our jobs will be story cars or our own cars, I think. I don't think we'll keep doing a lot of customer cars in the very near future because there'll be no need to. Unless it's something new we want to look at, maybe. So, fuel tank, I think the fuel pump has gone. Well, it looks a bit, yes it has, there we go. So we need a new fuel pump. Just double check it's on the list, it is. Still fuses on there and relays, and there's one other thing as well on top. So a couple of things to keep an eye on. Just got to highlight up on our shopping list the fuel pump. Let's go and buy one. It's in the normal one, not the electronics. There we go. Not too expensive, not too bad. We haven't really replaced anything on this car that expensive, which does tell me we're not going to earn a massive amount of money. We'll get onto that in a little bit, I'm sure. So, anything else at the back? It's difficult. Normally you'd have a scan around the car and anything rusted you'd know straight away it needs changing. Problem with this car, everything's rusty. So it's a bit more difficult to figure out what needs doing and what doesn't. It's one of those weird things. Okay, fuses. So I believe we've got at least a couple of these. So the relay A there, another relay A. Was there any more? I can't remember now if there's any more than the two. I'm in two minds now. I think that was it. No, there's a third. Relay type B. There we go. So 3 relays, 2 type A's and 1 type B. Couldn't for the life of me remember how many was on the list. So let's quickly buy these from the electronics. There we go. Nice and simple. And at least the car should now start. That's my thinking. Normally it's going to be engine related or fuse related to or the starter maybe. The reason it won't start. Remember we need to put the starter motor back in place as well. Must remember that. In fact we'll do that now while I do remember. It's always the one thing I'll forget if I'm not careful. Starter's back in place. We can fill the fluids up. I don't know if we're done or not. Was we still missing something? I'll have to check in a minute. Let's get the fluids done first. So coolant in first. I'm hoping it's all done. Washer reservoir, we can fill that back up with a lovely blue liquid. Perfect. And then power steering. Always a handy one to do as well. There we go. Oil. Can't forget to put oil in it. That would be a massive error if we didn't do that. There we we go. Brake servo. I don't think we've checked that fluid wise. I think it looks empty. You can't tell. There's that much rust around it. It's a little bit difficult to tell if it's full or not. Top that up while we're here. I'm not sure if that was on the list or not, but we'll do it while we're here. Being a little bit careful, going above and beyond, but a little bit of liquid won't hurt, I'm sure. I'm going to break the bank. Okay, let's check where we at. In fact, let's do the test we couldn't do. This will tell us if we need to take the engine out. These are the tests, because the engine wouldn't start, we can do them. If one of these is pistons, we've got to take the engine back out. I'm really hoping it's not. 15%. It's not red, but it is low. It's lower than the minimum. That's a little bit of a worry. But there were several lower than the minimum. So, we've got a chance. Check the fuel. Obviously the filter and the pump are new, so they're fine. Ah, we missed a fuse. Medium fuse type B. And there's still one undiscovered part. Okay, back to fuses then. I don't know how, we've already changed 3. Not quite sure how we missed 1. I've got to find the one we need. Because we know what it is, it should show up. So let's just scan them all and have a quick look. Find the one that's low. It's a red number, I would assume. Can't remember what it's called. And there we go, that one. Medium fuse type B. I don't know how we missed that. We did the other 3 and completely forgot that one. But we found it. That's the important part. So we just need to go and buy one. Already in the electronic side, so that should be fine. And that can go in place. Nicely done. Okay, we're still missing one part, I believe. That's something we're going to need to find. What I'm going to do, I think I'm going to take the car for a test. We can do it down the test path. And see if that shows up the one thing we're missing. I think that's our best bet. So we'll take it to the test path and we'll see you when we get back. Right, we're back to the test path, and unfortunately nothing showed up. So it's not brakes related, it's not suspension related. So the number plate is red. Could that be the issue? Surely not. No, it's not. So the number plate can go back on. I know it's red, but it can go back on. We don't need to replace it. I've really thought the test path would solve our issues. I really did, honestly. I thought, oh, perfect. Test path, job done. And it's not to be. So, let's check the ABS. There's always a chance we know what the pump is. We know what the module is, we don't know what the pump is. No, the pump is orange. We'll just check the list to make sure it's still not there. This is when it can get a little bit tedious when you're trying to find one thing. It's fine when you've got more than one. When it's just one little thing and you don't know what it is. We just know it's not brakes and we know it's not suspension. The ECU seems okay. It's higher than the minimum. It's orange. I'm looking for something that's going to be red. Rubber bushings, we know what level they are now, so it's not going to be them. What about the air filter? Have we looked in? I don't think we've looked inside the air filter, have we? Ah, that looks no good. No, it's not. There we go. That, I believe, yes it is. The air filter inside. I don't know what you call it, because the air filter box, obviously. I think it's just an air filter. That's all we need. That's the final bit of the puzzle for us. So we can put this in. That is the car done. At least it didn't take us that long to try and find this one little part. We got quite lucky there, I think. Okay, so while putting all that together, we'll work through the costs. So we spent £862 fixing this up, and we're going to get paid £1,992 and a profit of £1,130. It's not much. But we're going to make that up. We're going to work on this car. This is a customer car. It is the 2014 Bolthorn Grand Majave. Grand Majave? I think that's right. It's got a V8 engine. And it's got running gear problems, brakes. Car is loud. grinding from gearbox, struggling to find gear. So a fairly quick and easy fix, I would have said. We've already done our examination and we've took it to the test path. We're now just going to go through our other tests. Most of these are basically for XP. We don't really need them to find out the problems. Brakes and gearbox are generally fairly quick and simple to find and solve. In fact, we can see the ABS module just in the background there. Looks like it's on its last legs and it's replacing. The catalytic converter, ABS module we spotted anyway, but there we go. So the catalytic converter will be the car sounding loud, which will be the exhaust issue. As long as nothing comes up major in the engine, we don't need to take it out. And this should be a relatively simple fix. But I just thought, considering we didn't make much profit, we made just over £1,000 on the story car, may as well stick another car in, just to keep our money being topped up really, as we've got some expensive times ahead. Especially with some other rebuilds. There's a few upgrades we still need to do, so just trying to make sense of it all and make sure we've got enough there. I don't want to be in the same position we've been in previously, where we're selling things on the warehouse to finish a car. I think that's the worst position we can be in. But I'm not expecting anything really to show up now in these tests, because we've done most of it. We know what most of it needs doing. But the odd thing may do. Like I say, it's more for XP purposes, more than anything else. Okay, what we've got left? Look, fuel pressure test. Again, I'm not expecting anything from this, but it's worth checking. Normally for the fuel pump or the fuel filter, to be honest. Let's have a look. That's all good. All gravy. Right. It's one of my phrases my little boy started to pick up. It's not a good thing. So what have we got? So small rubber bushing we've got to go and change. Car is loud as catalytic converter. We still need to do the gearbox side of it. Clutch pressure plate though as well. Most of it simple. We'll start with the ABS. Module needs to come out. And generally if you replace an ABS module or pump, either or, you know this job is going to be worth a little bit of money. We also got a case from the previous story car. I need to remember to deal with that. But yeah, any ABS module or pump, you normally get paid well. So that is a very good start. It's an expensive part for us, but we should make an okay profit, hopefully. But yeah, if you're focusing on story cars, you're not going to make that much money. They don't pay well. It's just one of those things. Okay, let's have a look underneath the car. I'm expecting the gearbox to be no good. We shall see. I'm hoping it's fixable. Otherwise, I'll buy a brand new one, and that can be annoying. Now, we have got some brake issues as well. There we go. You can see straight through the tyre and the wheel there. There's some brake issues right there. So, brake caliper, that he's dealing with. Brake pads, again, he's dealing with. And the brake disc, I think that's even too low to fix, the brake disc. We can normally grind them out to fix them, but I believe that's too small. We're looking for this small rubber bushing as well. So we know about it, so it will sharp its percentage when we hover over it. There it is. Just got to find it first. It's all well and good them telling us that's what you need to change once we find it, but it's still finding it. But that's what the test path is good at. It tells you these little things. So the brake caliper I think we can go and fix, to be honest. Should be able to. Let's go and have a look. I know we don't normally show us fixing things. I know we normally do a big amount in one go, but just to confirm there, the brake disc can't be fixed. Can't be grinded back, but we can do the caliper. And that's 100% in one. Bonus. Okay. The other bits and pieces, it wasn't worth fixing. They weren't below minimum, and again, we don't get paid for extras. So we just got to get this on. We just need to buy the bits we haven't got. So small rubber bushing to replace the one we took off. Brake pads. And the brake disc, because we can't do anything with it. It's too low. Okay, now we should be able to put this side back on. We'll do rear suspension on first. There's a small rubber bushing fixed. I said this was a nice simple job, and it is definitely that. There's nothing really that difficult to deal with. brake pads back on, and the reason we went for the rear left is because when we did the test path, this was the obvious issue side. So that's why the test path is useful. It gives you an idea of which side of the car you're looking for. 9 times out of 10, whenever I've wanted to do a test path, we've not been able to do it because the car won't start. I have that more than anything else. Kind of makes me not loathed, but I don't use a test path anywhere near as much as I thought I would when we bought it. I honestly thought we'd use it more. But if cars don't start, there's no point. That's the problem. I'm just trying to see through the tyre and the rim. These brake pads are okay. There's one on the list to replace. I don't know. In fact, that tells us by hovering over, so we know it's not that one. Let's have a look at the front tyres next. So, front right. Let's have a look at this one. We managed to hover through, I think, and I think we popped up to say it was no good. Just need to get a little bit closer. Yes, this could be the brake pads we need to change. I think it is, looking at it. There we go. So brake pads off. We can go and buy new brake pads once I've added them to the shopping list. There we go. New brake pads, and that's another thing off this car done. You can see the catalytic converter from where we are. We know that's an issue. We are aware of it because it's on our list anyway. We found it during an examination. Was it an examination or was it one of the tests? Maybe one of the tests, I can't remember now. So we need to replace the catalytic converter. And we can also see the gearbox and the state that's in. It doesn't bode well, does it? So we need to take off the drive shaft so we can take the gearbox off. I think there was issues inside the connections between the gearbox and the engine as well. Why did I zoom down here? There's nothing wrong there. Okay. Anyway, back to the gearbox. Start the motor off. And gearbox. And you can see inside. That doesn't look good, does it? There's definitely some issues inside. Okay, clutch pressure plate. There's no test for these. So you actually have to manually take them off to see. We can tell they're no good. Or some of them aren't. Some of them are. The flywheel. Flywheel's not any good either. So we're going to go off. We're going to fix everything. And we fixed everything. We're back. We've bought what we need. We've fixed the parts we need. So we just need to put them back on the car. So straight off, catalytic converter. I can get my words out today. Flywheel. And then it's the clutch plate, and then the clutch pressure plate, and then the clutch release bearing. And in regards to the gearbox, I did look to buy one. We couldn't fix the one that was there. It was in the red. Luckily for us, we had a brand new one sitting in our warehouse. So we've saved ourselves quite a bit of money by not having to buy a new gearbox. We've managed to use the one in the warehouse. I think saving money on any job is always a bonus. That's a good thing for us. Drive shaft back on. And we might be done, to be honest. I don't think there's much left. That could be it. As long as we found everything, it could be a really good job done. And in fact, it is. I'm pretty sure it is. I got ahead of it. I know what it's going to say. Once we finally click it up, that is everything done. Yeah, it's done. And I'm not actually showing the page. So with that, we spent £1,325. It's quite a lot of money. We got paid £6,168, which means we made a profit of £4,843. Not a bad profit. So profit for the day is around £6,000. Definitely not too shabby. And as we open the crate, we're getting a few bonus crates out of it. Just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that's watched the video. And thank you for watching the series. I'm hoping you're enjoying it. And let me know in the comments any feedback you have. But that is it for today. And that is it for this episode. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.